Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Darnlock with TGN, bringing you another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 cast. This is game number 2 in the best of 3 series between Goody and TLO. The map is going to be ESL Metalopolis. That is the pause button. and over in the west, we have ESC Goody. He is spawning as the Red Terran player, the winner of the previous game. His opponent is going to be the Purple Zerg. Purple's a pretty good color, better than red, that's for sure. And that's going to be Liquid TLO, the little one of Team Liquid, one of the most popular teams, if not the most popular foreign team. I would actually say it's probably true. They have their own website, which is the hub of the StarCraft 2 community, pretty much that, and the StarCraft Reddit, or Screddit, as I like to say, because Screddit is a rather enjoyable word. We do have our players spawning close positions today. I feel like I'm an air flight attendant. Regardless, they are spawning close positions, so not to TLO's complete satisfaction. TLO would have much preferred cross positions. However, a close by air is not too bad either. Really, as long as you don't have close by ground, you're going to be okay. And even close by air, Zerg players can work with, because of course you are spanning away from each other. Well, not really away from each other, but parallel to each other. You aren't expanding close to each other. So by the time TLO gets on his his fourth base over here, that can get pretty difficult for a Terran player to deal with. Because if Goody really wants to walk all the way across the map over here, TLO can at that point just say like, okay, well I'm actually just going to box like 30 Zerglings, have them run up this road over here, and start messing your shit up at your natural. So it can be kind of tough. Zerg does have a favorable win rate on this map for the time being, which is fantastic for a TLO, obviously. He has gone for a hatch first. Standard, standard, standard. Actually, I think that was a pretty quick hatch first. I actually didn't see exactly the supply, but only just now is he getting up to 15. And this thing is like almost halfway done, so that must have been a very quick hatchery first from TLO. Pretty greedy, however, again, he knows who he's playing against. He knows he's playing against Goody, who tends not to favor early game pressure, and even when he does, like we saw in that previous game, it wasn't like the fastest rush in the entire world. It was just a little Marine Hellion drop, which TLO was able to deal with decently well. However, Goody is going to go for some very light bunker pressure. However, TLO should be fine against this. Just going to pull off a couple of drones. Not going to overreact whatsoever. He knows that this is more just to scare him rather than do any serious damage, as this is just off a single barracks. One Marine moving across the map right now. So TLO should be totally okay against this. This should not be problematic for him whatsoever. You see, he's not even going to lose a single drone. Maybe he will. The SCV actually chasing after that drone. Oh, and there goes the extractor. That drone is going to survive. The bunker is canceled. The Marine and the SCV are heading home, and TLO does not even care. Did go for a gas steal. Very smart to do against Goody. Once again, he knows Goody's going to want all that gas. As mech is, of course, a very gas-intensive composition to play, so TLO going to try and deny him that as long as possible. We do see the factory coming out for Goody right now. We see a reactor going down on the barracks, so I would not be surprised if we saw a reactor Hellion expand out of here from Goody. Such a good build, very standard, kind of bland. We see it almost every TVZ we watch on the more standard maps, I would say. But it's still strong. I mean, you can't fault players for doing a build that's just nice and solid and gives them good chances in the mid-game. Second factory, though, already going down for Goody. Again, man, he is all about that. And he's actually not going to land a factory onto the reactor quite yet, at least. And he's going to start barracks production from that reactor, so playing with my mind just a little bit. And let's see, what's TLO doing? He is just now taking his first gas, so he hasn't been doing anything super interesting. Just been sitting back and droning up like a boss, building both of his queens as well. Actually, he's actually been spending a lot of money on queens. He's gone for another very fast 4-queen build, which is super interesting. Not something we really see. It does kind of make sense, though. I mean, obviously, you're going to want 2 queens pretty quickly for larva injects anyway. And then when you get 2 more, well, then you're larva injecting and spreading creep super fast, which we're going to see him start doing right now with those queens. Plus, you already have a few queens to help defend against any early Banshees, any early Hellions, which are obviously pretty common in TVZ. And when you start taking your 3rd and your 4th, or even start building a macro hatch, you're going to have the queens ready to inject larva right there. So that it actually does make quite a bit of sense. Pretty strong way to open from TLO here. I'm actually liking this more and more. I may have to steal this opening for when I roll Zerg against Terran on the ladder, because this is actually making me pretty happy in the StarCraft 2 parts of my brain. Now Tech Lab has gone down on the first factory, so Siege Tank on the way, Siege Tech on the way as well, and Goody at this point pretty clearly opening with a timing attack here. Hasn't built a factory or anything like, or a factory, what am I saying, he's built two. Has not built a command center or anything like that, and he's just been powering up, and yeah, we see he's pushing out right now. He has just one tank, huh? Well, okay, he's going to have a second tank pop out here right now, which does make a lot more sense. Has pulled 4 SCVs to try and keep those tanks repaired. Has a good number of Marines here. They don't have any upgrades, but they have numbers, which is pretty solid. And TLO doesn't know this is coming until right now. Well, okay, he knew there was something going on because he has this Zergling over here giving him sight of the lack of expansion. But only now does he know that actually, oh crap, there's a bunch of stuff on my creep right now. And a lot of Queens actually isn't going to be very strong against this, so we're going to have to see how he's able to hold this off. Now Goody has moved forward with 1 siege tank. It is sieged up. The second one going to siege here pretty quickly as well. TLO, though, he does have a Roach Warren out. 7 Roach Warrens. Wow, that'd be intense. 7 Roaches on the way. He does have quite a few Spine Crawlers in position as well, so he should actually be pretty safe against this. Lots of Roaches, lots of Queens, both of which are, well, Roaches are really good against Marines. Queens are pretty okay. And another thing to keep in mind is all these Queens are going to be able to transfuse one another, and the Roaches as well. So TLO with his final spawn of Roaches is going to charge forward towards Goody right now. Will Goody be able to hold this off? I really don't think so. Huge concave coming out here from TLO right now, even bringing those Spine Crawlers forward to burrow to soak up some damage. And looks as if Goody is going to be able to hold just barely for now. Another siege tank does come down, but no, he is going to be pushed back. And this final siege tank actually should probably die as the creep is so well spread. That's going to allow TLO to take it out. But yeah, Goody just gives it up, and it does go down. So TLO actually right now in such a good position. It's very, very difficult to stress how good TLO is feeling right now. I mean, that was a very fast timing attack from Goody. Normally we see that kind of push come out at around the 10-11 minute mark. That came out at around the 8 to 9 minute mark. So Goody really sacrificed a lot to be able to get that out there, and really dealt no serious damage whatsoever. I mean, yeah, he didn't force TLO to lose a lot of resources, but it wasn't really in anything that was super important. I mean, yes, some Queens did go down, but TLO, he has a bunch of Queens. He actually, he's down to 4. Yeah, he still has 4 Queens, so TLO doesn't care about that. I don't think any drones were really killed. That's the wrong thing. Okay, so 3 drones were killed over the course of all of that, which obviously isn't enough to be able to make a serious dent in an economy, especially a Zerg's. So just, again, TLO looking pretty good right now. Now, this creep spread did get messed up a little bit. You see the creep is starting to die in this area, but that's not going to be very difficult at all for TLO to be able to rebuild. He's spreading creep 2 tumors at a time in both directions over here. Taking a third as well. TLO just doing all the things right now, and he's actually going to tech up to a pretty quick infestation pit here, and they are just hiding at the natural. So TLO really just spread out all over the place, but that's okay because, again, he just has the safety to be able to do that. Goody just now at what's going to be around the 12-minute mark, landing this command center at his natural and morphing it into an orbital command. In the meantime, TLO moving forward, seeing if he can sack a few Roaches to be able to take out anything meaningful. Should not be able to. Might be able to delay this gas right here. And the first refinery does go down. And all these Roaches, actually, Hellions and Marines, not too good against that. There we go. Now I do see that Goody is going to be getting a siege tank in position, with TLO controlling this reasonably well. Taking a few more hits than I would like to see him take, but he can just run back a little bit, turn around, to start shooting away at this, and it is really delaying Goody's, giving Goody the safety to just sit back and macro up, forcing Goody to spend a lot of his APM on defending that attack. And again, if we take a look at the APM tab, Goody at about half of what TLO has. So obviously TLO has a lot more APM to pour into that multitasking than Goody does have available to him. Now the third base is up for TLO. Already nice and droned up, not quite saturated, but looking pretty good. And just look at that, TLO with almost 60, now over 60 drones, and Goody at a mere 35. So, oh man, things are not looking good for the Panzer General right now, ladies and gentlemen. The infestation pit is out. It is starting to research that pathogen glands upgrade. Should see some infestors pop out here pretty quickly. Actually, TLO hasn't been saving up gas for that, so never mind, just kidding. And once again, he's going to be looking for those Overlord drops. He does have the speed upgrade, and wow, there are actually so many upgrades up there, but he does have the speed upgrade and that other upgrade, the one that actually allows Overlords to drop on the way, the Ventral Sax one. Yeah, there it is. He has even a Tunneling Claws incoming as well, so he really wants to make these roaches the best I can be with really, really high mobility. And he has quite a few roaches out on the field already. Actually, he actually has so many. He has 28 roaches. That's a lot for ZVT. But they do have their +1/+1 upgrade. Meanwhile, Goody, he has no upgrades whatsoever. Does he even have an engineering bay? I think he must. I mean, you need an eBay to build an army, right? I'm pretty sure that's the case. Okay, we're gonna go on a research expedition, ladies and gentlemen. No, you just need it for you just need a factory for it. Okay, so that's pretty sweet. But regardless, the point I was trying to make is TLO with much better upgrades than Goody does have. Now, Goody is getting a fair amount of Thors, but that's really not going to be very good against what TLO is going for. It looks as if Goody is expecting TLO to go for a more standard Muta play, but that's obviously not what's going on. TLO is just going for a bunch of roaches, which in sufficient numbers can overwhelm Thors really easily. And now we see TLO getting a little bit sneaky, moving some of these burrowed roaches forward. There is no detection here for Goody whatsoever. Now, keep in mind, Goody can see the slight warping of the ground, and he's actually going to move forward, is going to spot some of these roaches. But there we go. We do see that the roaches do pop out right here, and the siege tank actually dealing a lot of damage to the SCVs. At the same time, look at this positioning from TLO. Oh my goodness, dealing so much damage to Goody's army. Now, it looks as if Goody is winning this engagement. TLO is falling back. But just look at the supply counters. That's what's telling the real story here. 103 supply for Goody, 178 for TLO. He's almost maxed out. And Goody feeling a little braver than he should. He's going to start pushing out. I do not see how this is going to end well. The creep is extended so far. TLO can do absolutely whatever he wants. He did take a 4th base behind all of that, so he has a great economy. He's up to 94 drones. Has a great army. These infestors going to deal so much damage to Goody's forces right here. And Goody trying to push forward, but I really don't see this attack really turning out very well for him whatsoever. Has pulled some SCVs over here just to give those units a little bit more resilience. Going to heal them up nice and good. And here we go. Goody trying to push forward towards this natural once again. This one Spinecrawler still alive, pretty hurt though, and man, big fungal growth. The second one goes down. All the infantry have fallen for this little push from Goody. Really, the only meaningful here are these 4 Thors. And Thors are pretty good, but oh, here it comes from TLO, moving with those roaches. They unburrow right under the Thors. Now he actually moved his infestors in there as well. A little bit sloppy. They did die, but these Thors getting focused down very easily. Goody's sub 50 supply. He throws out the GG, and TLO is going to tie everything up to 1-1, and we are going to go to a 3rd game. We're going to finish this out just in case anything interesting happens, but it probably shouldn't. It's just the commentators are probably still talking, still keeping the game screen up. And those units will never be dropped.